What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel and I am a dental hygienist and a lifestyle YouTuber. Just as a quick background, I am not an athlete. I would say I'm moderately in shape. I don't have a big cycling background. I'm someone who can be super active and work out all the time for 3 months, 6 months, a year straight, and then totally fall off and not work out again for another year. I decided to buy the Peloton Bike Plus, and with the Peloton Bike, I also bought the Peloton Bike mat, the 2-pound weights, the cycling shoes, the workout mat, and the set of 3 resistance bands, which was almost $3,000 in total. I've had my bike for about 2 months now, and how I feel about my bike now is very different than how I initially felt about my bike. To date, I have currently done 45 Peloton rides. I just decided that I wanted to make the bike worth the investment, especially for the additional monthly fee that you have to pay $40 every single month for. So I decided I was going to make it non-negotiable, that I was going to ride it every single day for a month and see what I thought. So there's a little backstory on me. I am just an average person. I am not anything extravagant or exciting, but here's the 30 things that I learned while deciding to ride my bike for 30 days straight. I love the cycling high. I love pushing my body, pushing myself to the point where I feel like I physically can't go any faster, any harder, and I do. That is so satisfying. It's so mental at certain points that it's just amazing how much your body is telling you to stop and how much power you have over yourself to continue doing it anyways and not stopping every single time you get that urge to do so. Mind over matter is so true when it comes to the bike. Don't watch the clock. Don't pay attention to it. You can even hide it off the screen if you have to. Just focus on what you're doing right now. The different intervals, the different cycles, the different hills that you're doing, it's not going to be 20 minutes long. You're going to be doing it for a minute, 2 minutes, whatever the push is going to be. It's not going to last forever. Just focus on what you're doing at that specific time and your ride is going to be over before you know it. I know for me, if I'm constantly looking at the clock, looking at the time, I'm not focusing on what I'm doing and I'm just waiting for it to be over, which is not allowing me to get the most out of my ride. High-fiving people. I never started doing this until people started doing it to me, and I just realized it's so easy to just tap their photo to high-five them, and that to me has been really motivating because that means somebody on that leaderboard is watching you, especially if somebody is just a couple points underneath me or a couple points above me. It really gives you an extra push to keep going harder. Speaking of that, race yourself. So when I'm doing my rides, I always pay attention to what my current best is for that specific time. So whether it's a 10-minute ride, 20-minute ride, 30-minute ride, whatever, I want to make sure that I am matching my personal best or even above my personal best the entire time, because at the end of the day, the person that you're really going against is yourself. I mean, yeah, it's really fun, it's really helpful and motivating to have other people on the leaderboard, but it's not about being better than somebody else. It's literally about just being better than the time you were before. Obviously, I'm human. Obviously, there's some times that I really don't feel like riding, or I just have so many other things going on. The last thing I want to add on my to-do list is a ride, but I will say that I have never regretted doing a ride. I'm always so happy that I decided to do it because that's me time. I'm carving out just a couple minutes of my day, whatever it's going to be, just to focus on myself and just to focus on what I'm doing. I am such a type A anal person, and I constantly have like 500 tabs open in my brain at one time, and riding my Peloton really helps me to just chill and focus on only what I'm doing at that exact moment, and I feel like that break mentally for me is very much needed. Planning for me has become key. Planning it into my day. You have, I'm sure, a daily routine, things that you consistently do every single day that you probably don't even think about. You wake up, you eat breakfast, you brush your teeth, you shower, whatever it is, you probably don't have to think to yourself, oh, okay, well, what should I do next? Should I shower? Should I eat? It's literally just programmed into you. And for me, planning when I'm going to ride my bike, putting it somewhere in the day that I have an appointment with myself has made it so much easier to actually consistently do it. Speaking of that, scheduling my workout the night before is also extremely helpful. You can do it on the bike, but I go in the app every single night, the night before my next ride, and I'm looking at the rides. I'm trying to pick out a ride that I want to do the next day. Let's say it's a day where I only have 2 hours where I'm really home and not sleeping or at work. Obviously, I'm going to do a shorter ride that time. If it's a day where I only have a half day, I will plan to do a longer ride. If it's a day where I have a recovery day, I'm going to pick out a ride for that. Just going through and already having that scheduled, already having that planned, it's like a consistent date night with yourself. And if you know me, I love me some me time. Music is everything. I love the hip hop, I love the club banger rides, I love the 90s rides, I love the trap rides, R&B rides. I always go in and check out the class music before I actually commit to doing that specific class, because if I don't like the music or if I don't know the music, it makes that ride so long and so not enjoyable. You really have to enjoy the music because that's really so motivating. There's some songs that come on, and even if I'm like dead tired, it just really helps me get into it. You don't even think about it because you're just like enjoying the beat of the song, or you're enjoying the lyrics, or whatever it is about that song. It is just very helpful to push you to keep going. And when you do enjoy the music, the ride goes by so much quicker. Live classes are extra motivating. I was so nervous to try a live class at first because I thought they would call you out, they would say things about you if you weren't doing great, and never have I heard them say any negative things to anybody. It's very positive, it's very motivating. They congratulate you on your 10th ride, 500th ride. It's your birthday. It's just so fun to be working out with people all around the world at the exact same time that you are, and waiting and hoping that they're going to call your name out. The instructor, I feel, can really make or break you. And I mean that in two different ways. There are some instructors that I love so much more than other instructors. Just like people, there are certain people that you just naturally gravitate towards or get along with better. And their classes are just something that I naturally gravitate toward and enjoy more. Also, the second way that I mean that is they can make or break you as far as what they're saying to you and how motivating they are. Most of the instructors are really good at constantly talking to you and making sure that you're motivated and not just having blank airtime, because when it's dead silent, your mind is just like, oh my god, is it over? Is it over? Is it over? But if they're talking to you, they're telling you a story, they're motivating you, you don't really like mentally go to that place, if that makes sense. They're constantly checking your form. Is your head down? Are your shoulders hunched up? When you're in it and you just like feel like you're dying, your form definitely does slip, and it's a great reminder to fix your form when they call you out on it. Turning on the automatic follow for the resistance has been a huge help for me, because I noticed that if I just put it on auto follow, I am so much less likely to want to turn the knob and turn the resistance down. There's so many times where the resistance is super high and you just feel like you're dying and you so badly want to just turn that knob, but I know if I just put it on the auto follow and it just automatically changes as soon as it's done, my resistance will go down. As soon as we start up, the resistance is going to go up, and I don't even have to worry about it. I just feel like mentally I think of touching it a lot less because I don't touch it at all during the ride. Go heavy or go home. This is something that I was so not doing in the beginning, and I've learned that really how much your resistance is makes such a big difference. Instead of just worrying about how high you can get your cadence up, how heavy your ride is, I feel like is where I see the majority of my best results and best scores. I always try to go as heavy as I can and stay in whatever the cadence range is that I need to be in. But if I am just surpassing the cadence and it is easy for me to do, I know I have to put more resistance on. I truly do feel like my legs are so much stronger. I feel like they look slimmer, and I love that. As someone who has always had large thighs, feeling how strong they are and how much muscle they're building is such a great feeling. As much as you want to go hard all the time, recovery is also just as important. I do 2 recovery rides every single week. Usually I do my recovery rides on Friday and Saturday, just so that way I have a little bit of downtime, because I can feel the fluid buildup in my legs, and I know know when I need a little bit of a break to just kind of flush them out. Make realistic expectations. There are some days where I am just already so freaking tired that I know I'm not going to crush my score. And if it's a day like that, then I just make an agreement with myself like, hey, I realize that I'm probably not going to surpass my score, which is really hard to swallow, but I'm at least going to do my best to keep up with my current best for whatever time I am doing on the bike. With that being said though, I do always try to do better than I did the last time for whatever the time range is. Even if it's just by 1 point, to me that is so important because I constantly want to know that I am making progress. In my opinion, you need a little extra protection for the booty when you're on the bike because it is very uncomfortable, especially when I first started riding, and I didn't buy a new seat cover, I didn't buy the padded shorts. I literally just got the fluffiest towels that I could find, and that's what I put over top of the seat to sit on, and to me that's been really helpful for just a little extra cushion. Speaking of towels, I also always have a towel across the handlebars. The guy who installed my Peloton bike just kind of instilled in me that it is so important that you keep your bike clean so that way it lasts longer for you, that way I'm not getting sweat all over it, is something that I just consistently always do now. I just constantly always change it out, and it's nice to have a towel there to wipe off your face because there is like sweat everywhere, it's dripping everywhere, and it's just nice to have that towel. I sweat, I feel like so much more doing these rides than I ever remember sweating in any of the other workouts that I've done. I have sweat just like running down my face, down my neck, my legs, my stomach. There's so many times where I just feel like so out of breath and I feel like I can't catch my breath. I've realized that you make so much progress so fast, especially by doing it consistently. Even just a week difference, how much better my score is from a 30-minute workout a week ago versus a 30-minute workout today. Like, it is just amazing how much better your score gets and how quickly that it rises up. One of the main reasons why I wanted to get the bike is for the Scenic Rides. I love hiking and I thought that looked really, really fun. Unfortunately, the Scenic Rides are not what I thought that they were going to be like. I thought that in the Scenic Rides, whatever cadence you were pedaling at, that's what it looked like on the screen, so it looked really realistic, like you're actually pedaling wherever it is that you picked on your Scenic Ride, and that's not the case. It is just one specific speed the entire time, so it doesn't feel super realistic to me, and I personally don't really enjoy the Scenic Rides for that reason. Another thing I learned is that you can mute the instructor and just listen to your own music or listen to a podcast, watch a TV show, whatever you want to do. I feel like if I'm doing a recovery ride, this is fine, but if I'm actually doing a class and doing like a real actual workout that day, that to me is not something that I could do because I need somebody talking to me to motivate me and keep me going. But if that's something that you would like to do, that is an option. You can ride with a friend. So I don't have a ton of friends that have Pelotons, but I do have some, and I think that is a really cool feature because it's nice to have people to motivate you and have similar interests and understand what you're talking about. The monthly fee is $40 a month to be able to get all the use out of the bike, out of the Peloton workouts in general. That's over $1 a day. If I'm not using my bike, I'm throwing away that money. I'm wasting my money. And if I'm going to invest in something, I want to actually make it worth my time, worth my investment. There's a Peloton app that syncs to your phone that also you can sync to the health app. And I love that because, like I said, I love scheduling my workouts. I love going through and looking at the other workouts I want to try next. And I love looking at my history on my phone and syncing it to my health app. So that way, not only can I track my steps, but I can also track my progress on the app on my phone, as well as just looking at it on the bike. You also get a little notification when you're done working out, which is probably a nothing thing to other people, but to me it's so motivating to just like have a little notification pop up on my phone telling me that I did X amount of kilojoules for that ride and good job. In order to use the bike, you have to have an outlet nearby. So if you plan on getting one, just be mindful of wherever it is that you want to put it, because because you're not going to be able to ride it if it's not plugged in. I have our bike down in the basement, which I wanted to do because we have more space down there. It's all open and it's cooler in a basement than it is like an upstairs room like the room I'm in now. Especially in the summertime, heat rises. This would be a very hot room to ride in. But we only have one outlet in our basement, and I have to use an extension cord to plug in the bike because I can't get it close enough to the outlet. One thing that I've noticed is that my legs and my butt will hurt so bad during the classes, but I have never, even still after doing it for 30 days, 45 rides, I have never felt sore the next day. I mean, I felt like a tiny bit of soreness in my legs, but I've never felt like the typical post-workout soreness that I felt with other workouts. I feel like that's kind of not motivating because am I really making progress? Or maybe that's normal with cycling? I don't know. If you're a cycler, let me know if you get sore. Foot cramps. Oh my goodness. Foot freaking cramps. That is something that I noticed. I've had it a couple times where my foot just cramps up after the workout and even like a couple times throughout the next day. I think it's just because of how tense I am during the workouts. I'm not paying attention always to how my foot's positioned or how I'm like squeezing my foot or whatever in the cleat. And then the last thing, the 30th thing that I have learned is that there's a $100 off coupon code that everybody gets whenever you purchase a Peloton. You don't have to have a following, you don't have to be an influencer. Any normal person can have this code, and it's nice to share with your friends and family, and you get rewarded back when people actually use your code. You can have your code used up to 12 times in a year, and every time your code is used, not only does your friend or whoever uses it get $100 off their order, but you also get $100 to use in the Peloton apparel shop. I have gotten so far $600 worth of Peloton apparel for literally nothing. When you get a Peloton bike, you get this nice package in the mail, which I totally ripped because I didn't realize that this was actually part of the package. But when you open it up, this is inside, and you take out this red box, and you open it up, there's a code that you can enter for a free piece of Peloton apparel, which I think is very nice. It's a very nice way to welcome you into the community. So yeah, that's 30 things that I have learned in 30 days for riding my bike every single day for 30 full days. I just have to say that I am so in love with my bike. I love it so much. It is very expensive, kind of overpriced, I do agree, but I think it is so worth it and I would buy it again. If you are considering getting a Peloton, I'm gonna be like everybody else and just say freaking do it. I am so happy that I did it. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please let me know by hitting the thumbs up button. If you want me to do more videos about the Peloton bike, let me know if you have any suggestions in the comment section. If you're not already subscribed, I would so greatly appreciate it if you wanted to join the family. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!